got the old pink carpet, which I've cut out in here, but you can see there's wood plank right here and wood plank on the walls. This used to be an old fireplace, an old chimney. And so here's what I'm using, these two tools right here. But you can use a hammer or a screwdriver or whatever you have, really. But this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue this process all the way around. So stay close. I'm gonna take off these baseboards. See, I gotta get rid of these tack strips. Trim's gone. Here it is now. I have taken up the tack strips. They are gone. I used the same two tools and you kind of get the point. You just pull up the stuff. Now I'm gonna use a mud knife, sheetrock mud knife, and I'm gonna scrape this. And I know it's lead-based paint and all, but you know, sometimes you gotta rip the band-aid off. But anyway, you know, you just gotta get it done. Gotta scrape all this off the wall. This stuff needs to come off. This needs to be smooth. I need to cut this, cut that, scrape everything, get up these staples, and I have a carpet video if you're interested to see how I got all that up. How I got all this carpet up and made this floor look nice, which I'm gonna do the same thing right here, if you're curious on that. So I'm gonna show you how I cut this foam and scrape this. This one's flat, that's why it didn't stick. That oak's too hard, so I'm not gonna throw this one. Here was take out the nails at the bottom and scraped it again and vacuumed it again. And this is all ready for the next phase. And all I'm gonna do is put sheetrock. I'm gonna measure sheetrock, and I have other sheetrocking videos, so stay close. I'm gonna show you what this looks like. I'm gonna measure the sheetrock and cut it and put it in. Since there's wood back there, I can just cut it any size, any length, and patch it all together. And I'm gonna use some patches probably. We'll see. Show you up there, that's why. See? it's smooth right here. The sheetrock meets that sheetrock. I put in this stud right here. So, and I'll show you the rest in a minute. I gotta put another little piece of sheetrock right down there for this spacing. Okay, so here it is right here. I've got that little piece down there at the bottom for the trim as a spacer. And then from here all the way up this side right here to the top, meeting right there. This is all gonna be trimmed out. I'm gonna have trim all the way around. I'll show you that. And the trim will rest down. See, I had to build this baseboard at the bottom from over there, out flush with this one. And then I'll put another little block right here and caulk it and paint it all, sand it, get it looking good. Like I said, the trim there. We've seen how I did these shelves right here. That one and that one. And we're gonna be putting 2x4 trim around here. You can use whatever you want. I'm just gonna match what I have. 2x4 trim, I'm gonna trim this out, corner around. In the corners, I'm gonna have to do some mudding and taping. This is where the guns are gonna sit. I'm gonna build a little rack right here for the guns. It's gonna be really cool, or at least pretty cool. And they're gonna go way up there. So all I'm doing here is I've got this little tack nailer and an air compressor outside, and I'm putting on the corner round. I've measured it to length, straight cuts in between, like that. I've got the 2x4 trim at the bottom. I have to do a little work right here. This is gonna be the problem area, right here and right down here. So I'm gonna have to work. I have videos. I'm gonna use mud and tape, and I have a video on how to do a mud seam like this, how to fill in screw holes, how to hang the drywall, how to do all that. So if you're curious on how I did all the drywall, if you need help with that, I do have videos. Right here, what I'm doing is, these are the plank boards, and these are 1x3s right here, and I'm matching the plank boards, and I'm going boom, 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 and nailing them in to make sure you have boards. There's a board right there and a board right there, and I'm nailing them, one nail in each one all the way down, or 2 nails in each one. Boom, 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 like that, all the way down. What I'm doing in these big gaps like this, there's one down there, and there was this one on the side, and all I'm doing is taking door shims, $1 or $2 a bag for a whole bag, and I only used some leftover ones, but I filled that gap, made it tight, no screws or anything. I just filled it with wood, and what I'm gonna do is, like it or don't, I'm gonna use just a piece of paper, mud and tape, and I'm gonna, as I'm mudding right here, when I go a second coat on here, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a first coat on here, and we can find out together what this looks like, because I've never done it before, but I'm about to do it. So judge me if you wanna. I gotta fill that gap somehow. Still mud and taping, nothing special. I wanna show you this corner, how it looks, okay? It doesn't look too great, but it looks a heck of a lot better. And you see, I'm doing the shims thing. I shimmed in the wood, and then I filled it in with mud. That's it. We're gonna see what this does. I gotta cut the shims, obviously, and trim that board and caulk it. Caulking. This is 3 coats on the nail holes. Gotta do a light sanding tomorrow. I've put in the plank boards. And I've filled in this gap and done 3 coats up here. Let all this dry overnight, and we're gonna see what all this does in the morning. This we know is gonna be fine, but mainly this corner. So stay close. And I gotta finish that, I guess, I forgot that. Okay, this is the third coat. I'm shining a flashlight on it and it's still drying. This is gonna look really nice. That corner is gonna turn out nice. This place that I filled in right here, it's looking better. I'm gonna cut those shims still, but this is looking better. You can see everything. I'm about to prime it right now. I'm gonna start putting primer on the wall. Found these boards at a job site for free. I did ask and they gave them to me. So there you go. There's my new shelves. Even better than the last ones, which are right over there. And there's no need for me to shine those up. I don't need that many shelves anyway. And that's lead-based paint. These are thicker and better. I got them cut to length. I've got my new boards that I'm gonna rest them on. They're 2x2s. And I am gonna go ahead and level these up and put them. All I'm doing is taking my drill and putting this countersinking drill bit, getting it over the edge of the sink and start drilling out. Okay, now I've got the regular drill bit in there again now. I'm going to take the first two and put them in place, and then I'll show you how to do the rest. All I've done here is put the screws inside that board into the wall. You can see it there. I also have the top one ready. I'm about to get that one going. But all I did was set this level on that and make sure it's level. And now that that's level on one side, that way you don't have to do anything crazy here. You just put it in the wall. And I'm going to show you how I finish this out. Life is like a box of chocolate. Okay, I've got this board. Everything's level. Right there. Okay, so I've measured this out. Make sure you measure it. This is big enough for when I put my rod under here, I can hang clothes and they won't be hitting the floor. Same thing here. I can hang my clothes on a rod and they won't be hitting the floor. Also, if somebody wanted to hang longer things or stand something in there for other uses, they could remove these shelves very easily and do whatever they need to do. And just have a rod or no rod or whatever. I'm going to make it very universal for whoever's living here. Up from here, inside this section, this is going to be a gun case. I'm going to put all my guns in here. So I'm going to make a cool little thing right here, something I've never seen before. So anyway, let's keep going. Hair and paint. So right here I have all the guns in place, and all I've done is measure a board across, and I've drawn with a pencil where the butts of the guns sit, just like that. And I'm gonna cut out those little rectangles all the way down this board that's pre-cut to the right length. And that's a 1x3, or you could use a 1x4, and this is a 2x2, and I'm gonna set it right on top of that one like this, nail them together, and the guns will sit in place. So stay close. And then I'm doing the trim boards at the very top too, all the way around the top. Got my closet rods in. I got a video on those closet rods if you want to see how I did that. Got that, and up top it's not done, and I just sponged, and that's black mold on the sponge and dripping down. I've just cleared it out, and I'm washing the ceiling as well. So after washing the ceiling and washing the walls, then I'm gonna paint. Okay, so at this point, you're probably gonna hate the closet. I'm gonna take you in close and show you what I'm doing now. I'm gonna go over a few things. It's been quite a project. I think I'm gonna finish it today, I hope. Still got some more drying time, but come in close, I'll show you. So right here, you can see this is all filling in really good. And in comparison to what this did look like, even without tape or anything, now you could put a piece of stick tape right here where that cracked if you wanted to, but other than that one small crack, you can see this whole thing. It looks really good, so I would recommend doing that. So this trim looks good. You can see going around inside here, this looks great. There's a hairline crack right there. So once again, going from the wood to the sheetrock where that big gap was, where we put all them shims and everything, I would suggest putting a piece of stick tape down, all the way down. And it's very minor, but if you, and I don't care, in my case, I'm gonna leave it actually. But I would suggest putting some stick tape right there, all the way down, and mud that at least 2 coats and give it a little sanding, and then paint it, and it'll go completely away. So I've got the trim down here. This all looks good. You see those 2x4s trims. I had to scrape this with a mud knife and a screwdriver actually to peel all the paint that I could, and there's still little speckles of paint inside the floor, so I had to do that. And I'm gonna leave it just like this. Actually, there's a little bit, I'm gonna do a little bit more scraping right there and probably right there, and right here in the middle. But besides those big spots, I'm gonna go ahead and put this polyurethane right here. And I scraped a few other spots out here that I gotta touch up with the polyurethane. I'm gonna paint all that and then paint in here with that clear coat. These are done, the shelves and rods. That's all done. Here's the gun rack. I've got this board right here going at an angle. Straight cuts, all straight cuts. And all these are the same, straight cuts. I have this little light that I'm gonna put in here, and it has a little place right there. And I'm actually gonna nail it where I can turn on and off the light to see my guns above all the clothes. But you can see all I've done is put these boards to a little frame that I built all the way around with 1x2s. These are only $1.92 a board at Lowe's. And I framed it with that and connected these to the front and to the back. And then I nailed all these boards in to the shelf. It's just an ordinary shelf like this one that I trimmed out with all these boards. And then I finished these trim boards. This is just the 1x2 and the 2x2. These are 1x4s. I trimmed it out all the way around the top. I finished these boards right here and painted them. Finished these boards and painted them. But you can see those are just 1x3s. These are all 1x3s. And it's all original wood from here down. And if you wanted to fill all these little spots and stuff inside the old wood, you can just use sheetrock mud and glaze over this, skim coat over it, and I'll make a video on that soon. I got a skim coat video coming up in my kitchen, but you can skim coat over this stuff and light sanding and prime it, and it'll go away, even if it's wood or sheetrock. So up here, I have this hole. This old chimney is still inside there. And what I'm gonna do now is to take a piece of foam and fill this whole gap in with foam, and I'm gonna go around and put caulking in all these little spots. At the top and around in this corner, I'm gonna put caulking. That's what I'm about to do right now. So I gotta fill this, put the caulking, and stain this floor in these several spots. So stay close and I'll bring you. So me and my daughter actually are living here in the duplex now. It's rented on the back side for $650 a month. We're living here on this side. There's me and my daughter. And I'm gonna show you the final result. Here's the light switch. There's all the guns. Caulking. That's foamed. Everything's painted. Cheap PVA primer. It's only like 15 bucks at Lowe's. All these trim boards are only $1.92 each. These closet rods, that one and this one, was only about 10 bucks, $9.99. I got a shelf here for shorts and pants. You could do something else up top if you didn't have guns. And then I have the longer clothes. You could put dresses and longer outfits down here. Shoes down below. This is the children's closet. This is the adult closet. I'll walk in right here, and the children's closet right here, minus this top part. So there's that. If this video was helpful in any way, go ahead and like it. Subscribe to my channel if you like home improvement videos.